This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. So since we've been talking about this situation with Lauren Boebert, genius extraordinaire, poor man's Sarah Palin, victim of a mule kick to the head, apparently, and her bigotry and discriminatory language relative to her colleague, her co-worker, Ilhan Omar, the Denver Post, her local paper, has taken it upon themselves to apologize on her behalf to Ilhan Omar. Even her local paper has had enough with the bigotry of Lauren Boebert. I'm going to read a little bit from this editorial review board opinion piece, signaling they're fed up, they're sick of her. It is titled, "Since Boebert Seems Incapable, We'll Apologize to Omar for Her." And I'm going to read a little bit from it. It does go through. I'm not going to read the parts where it kind of recaps what happened. You know, if you've been following it, I've talked about the story. So with that in mind, if you don't know the story, watch previous videos, go read a headline, and it will explain the entire timeline to you. The Denver Post editorial board has mostly tried to ignore U.S. Representative Lauren Boebert's antics because they add so little to the public discourse. Since the Western Slope representative was elected in November 2020, we've published 2 editorials about her. The first urged an investigation into the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol and whether her words and actions helped former ex-President Donald Trump spark the insurrection. The other editorial defended Boebert from sexist and elitist attacks targeting her on social media for her physical appearance and lack of a college education. You mean that she dropped out of high school and then eventually, right before she ran for Congress, got her GED? Is that what you mean? Is that an elitist attack to state the facts? But last week, Boebert crossed a line, and now we must stand up for common decency. Boebert is intentionally using her platform to peddle a gross and false narrative about Muslim Americans. We cannot fathom what evil intent drives this behavior, but after her apologizing, Boebert now has made matters worse, making a joke about suicide bombers and suggesting that a congresswoman is a threat to safety and security because she is a Muslim is both racist and a form of religious bigotry. But after all, that is pattern and practice. That is exactly who Lauren Boebert is a vile and sinister religious bigot. Much like many Republicans across the country, I'm talking about citizens, and most members of Congress. Boebert did apologize to anyone in the Muslim community I offended with my comment about Rep. Omar, and she pledged to call Omar directly. However, Boebert reported in a strange video on Monday that the phone call went poorly, and it's no wonder, given that she prefaces the conversation by once again raising the specter of concern about Omar and threats to American security. Representative Ilhan Omar deserved nothing short of a full apology. Instead, Boebert used the phone call as a publicity stunt and further insulted Omar. Boebert is clearly incapable of remorse or reflection. So, as her fellow Coloradans, a beautiful place of tolerance and respect, diversity and freedom, we will help her. And here is the apology. We apologize to the Congresswoman and to the Muslim community for Boebert's insensitive remarks. Such remarks, no matter how innocently intended, have no place in American discourse. Boebert should not have fabricated an encounter with the Congresswoman, and she most certainly should not have suggested she or any Muslim should be suspected of terrorism based on their religion. It is incumbent on Colorado's representatives to treat all Americans with respect and dignity, regardless of differences of opinion. We know we cannot bridge the deep rifts causing Americans to distrust one another through hateful language. We are embarrassed a Colorado representative is engaged in widening this divide, and we are sorry we didn't call her out the first time she used a derogatory reference toward you and other members of Congress who are women and minorities. So good job for the Denver Post. I think all Americans could take a page from this example. I don't know how that would look on a ground level, but if you have a Muslim friend or you have a Muslim neighbor, it's worth a conversation. Allyship is something that we should all aspire to, whether that be allies with just generally people of color, a religious minority. We can't leave them alone to defend for themselves, defend against this vile bigotry that has no place in America, especially in Congress. Is it Lauren Boebert's belief that there's not a single Muslim or person of color or a religious minority in their entire district? Is it lily white and stupid just like her? I doubt it. What do you think, though? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Thanks for joining me today. And as always, follow me on social media. That is a time. And if you appreciate what I do, if I bring you some value, some level of something that you appreciate, please consider supporting my work here on the platform. For as little as $1.99 a month, you can become a channel member. Click the join button below this video. I always look at the front of my desk when I'm motioning toward the button. And if that's not your thing and you already support somebody on Patreon or you want to check out Patreon, go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. All these are great ways to support and produce what I do here. The Patreon's not just for the podcast, which is a twice weekly audio podcast that you should check out. Always a good time with me and my lovely, talented, and scholarly co-host, Brittany Page. I love you guys. I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.